Hi, it's Amy here from EV Installations, and today I'm going to take you through a recent install that we did at an apartment here in Sydney. So this apartment building has approximately 50 residents and about 100 car parking spaces. Now they engaged us to do the complete backbone infrastructure for their building. So what this means is installing all the infrastructure required so that every single resident has the option to put an EV charging station in their car parking space in the future. Let's go take a look. So here we are in the main switchboard room. Now this is the perfect place to start because it's where we had to start for our installation. So the first thing that we had to do is we had to install circuit breakers to act as protection for the 5 additional EV distribution boards that we've installed throughout the car park. I'll take you to have a look at those in a little bit. So here we have the 3 160 amp circuit breakers that we installed on the main switchboard. The next thing that we did over here is we installed a load controller. So that's up here. So what this load controller does is it measures the building's energy consumption in real time, and then it talks to the EV chargers that are in use and distributes this available power to them. It's a way of making sure that the power circuits are never overloaded and the building's power isn't tripped. So let's go take a look at those EV distribution boards. Come with me. So if you take a look up here, you can see where the power supply comes out of the main switchboard and will run to all of the EV distributions throughout the car park. So as you can see, this is a really hard installation because we have almost 8 meters of height that we had to deal with, and the cable pathways were nearly 130 meters. What this meant is that the technicians had to use scissor lifts, they had to control traffic management, and they had to work with residents and the building manager to make sure that we could install the cable trays in the safest and most efficient way. Let's keep going. This is another example of some tough cable tray installations. The guys had to use cable tray supports to make sure that it could run along the side of this building. So here we are at our first EV distribution board. So there are 5 of these installed throughout the car park. Now these are completely customizable and they can service a different number of car parking spaces depending on what the level needs. So across this building, we have some that service 12 car parks all the way up to 30 car parks. So essentially what happens is the power supply runs into this from the main switchboard room, and then the power supply comes out of this to the EV charging stations themselves. The other thing that we have over here is a data cabinet. So we've only got 1 of these installed in this building, and essentially what this does is provides internet to the EV charging stations. Now why this is important is because the EV charging stations need to be able to communicate to work with the load management and also the billing software. So what happens is we have this data cabinet, and then we run data cables from it to each of the charging stations to give them internet access. Now let's talk about what happens when a resident wants an EV charging station installed in their car space. So the first thing that we do is we install an RCBO, also known as a safety switch, in the nearest EV distribution board to their car parking space. We then run a power circuit from that RCBO to their EV charging station. Let's go have a look. So here we have the resident's EV charging station. So what we've done is we've run the power and data cable from the EV distribution board and the data cabinet all the way to this EV charging station. So what that does is provides power to the charging station and also provides internet to the charging station. We also have an isolating switch here, and what that does is it allows us to turn off the power supply to the EV charging station if we need to do any scheduled maintenance, such as an annual maintenance check, or if there's any issues with the charging station that we need to rectify. So this resident has chosen to mount their charging station on the back wall. They would also be able to mount it on the pylon, such as this one, if they wanted to as well. The installation of the EV charging station is what we call the last mile installation. Whereas the backbone installation is paid for by the owner's corporation, the last mile installation is paid for by the resident themselves. So when they get their electric vehicle, they simply contact us at EV Installations and we come and install their EV charging station for them at a set price installation. So that's the last mile and the backbone infrastructure explained to you. We look forward to hearing your thoughts about this installation, and if you have any questions about how we can put EV infrastructure into your building, get in touch with us here at EV Installations.